Hi everyone, we're going to find the sum of these two geometric series using this formula. R is not 1. They have to write this down because the domain can't have 1 in it because you can't divide by 0. So if R was 1 here, that's your R, you'd have a 0 in the denominator. So these are our two problems, and it's just a test on how to use the formula here. This A just means it's your first term. So we're going to do the sum equals A times 1 minus R to the N. And this formula you got to be careful with, or I do, because I always put the N on the outside. So it goes on the inside there, divided by 1 minus R. And we're just trying to find the sum. So the sum equals your first term, which is 6, times 1 minus R. R is what you do to get from 6 to 8, or 8 to 54. So to find R, you take 8, one number divided by the previous number. So 8 divided by 6, that reduces to, you divide both sides by 2, that would be 4/3. Alright, so R is 4/3. And you raise that to 6, because we want to 6 terms. Alright? Divided by 1 minus 4/3. So what I usually do when I have this 1 here, I just make this 3 over 3. So when I do that, so I'm going to write out, it's just because I'm used to not having to be able to use the calculator. So you have 1 minus 4/3 to the 6th power. And this right here is going to be negative 1/3. And when you have negative 1/3 in the denominator, that's like multiplying this 6 by negative 3. So that's really going to end up being negative 18 times 1 minus 4/3 to the 6th. It just makes putting the calculator a lot easier. So now we can put in the calculator. So you have negative 18 parentheses 1 minus parentheses 4 divided by 3 close parentheses. Oops, I forgot my 3. All right. Let's do this. Negative 18, 1 minus parentheses 4 divided by 3, then close parentheses, raised to the 6th power, and put another parentheses, and that gives you 83.136 if you round to 3 decimal places. Okay? Let me see if I do math inner what happens. That basically gives you 6734 divided by 81. Alright. So the next one is this one. So let's do the same thing. Our sum is your first term times 1 minus your ratio. Now your ratio here would be 5 divided by 10. Just take the current term divided by the previous term. That gives you 1/2. And then you take that 1/2 to the 5th power. Divide it by 1 minus 1/2. Again, I'm going to look at my denominator. My denominator is 1 minus 1/2, which is 1/2. So that just means I can pull this 2 up and multiply the 2 by 10 and get 20. So you get 20 times 1 minus, like that. So you don't have to put all that in the calculator. Okay, 1/2, that's 1/30 1/32, 1 divided by 32. Alright, so I can write this as 32 over 32. Whoops. So 32 over 32. That equals 1, so you get 20 times 31 divided by 32. And when you put that in the calculator, you're going to get 20 times 31 divided by 32. And then I'll do math inner. So that would be approximately 19.375. and the exact value is 155 divided by 8. So it just depends on how they ask. If they ask you for the exact value, you have to give this. If they ask for approximate value, you can leave it in decimal form. All right, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.